Harvest Series 2020 with our guest sommelier and wine expert, Maia. I'll give you Maia's bio in just a second. I want to go over some housekeeping just to keep everybody organized on what we're doing tonight. We love when people ask questions. There are two ways to ask a question. The preferred way, if you look at the bottom of your screen and you see the Ask a Question link, click on that. It'll pop up a window and you can type your question in. I will keep an eye on that throughout the discussion, and whenever I'm able to slip a question in for Susan and Maia, I will do that. You can also type one in the chat session, but I might not see it as quickly, especially if the conversation's moving quickly. So try to make use of that Ask a Question, and please ask all the questions that you can think of. I do have one. I want to have Sue address. Somebody asked the question before we even got started tonight, and I know it's been at least locally in the news a lot. And that is, with all the wildfires we have going right now, have the grapes been affected by that in any way?
Thanks, Robin. For those of you that might not know, I'm Sue, the owner and winemaker at Acquiesce Winery, and I'm happy to answer the question about smoke taint. It definitely is a concern in California with the fires that we've had. Luckily in Lodi, we haven't had any direct smoke from the fires, which what we understand is the most harmful. We are fortunate to have all white wines here, so we are not soaking our grapes in the juice, which is where the smoke taint compounds are absorbed into the wine. So it's something that actually UC Davis has been working on for years, and still we don't have complete analysis of it as far as how it affects the wine and the grapes. But so far here at Acquiesce, we feel very confident that it isn't an issue. And so, Greg, I hope that answers your question.
Okay. So now I would like to introduce Maia Parish. Maia, I'm just going to read some of your bio. You have had a very interesting career so far. You have great qualifications. So I'm going to tell everybody about you. She is the owner of the Wine Suite and creator of the Tales of a Wine Mistress blog. Her events and tastings are featured at national festivals and trade shows. She has her own broadcast called Tales of a Wine Mistress on IGTV over on Instagram, Facebook Watch, and Twitter Live. She has been a wine judge for the Denver International Wine Competition, a Drink Pink Wine International at the Drink Pink Vino International Festival, Port and Fortified, and the Parisian Food and Wine Competition. She's a guest panelist for the 2016 Wine Blogger Conference. She's been featured in the Women in Wine issue on R.H. Drexel's Loam Baby, and was voted as the under 40 top African Americans in wine. She was also published in Somm Journal recently in an article I'm going to recommend people search out. We may want to put a link somewhere. I read that one with Karen McNeil about the status of wine and of women in the wine industry. Great piece, and Maia was part of that. She is a former private caterer and events producer. She is a certified sommelier and has wine education credentials, which include intermediate and advanced certification with the International Wine and Spirits Education Trust, which some of you know as WSET, which is based in London. And she's currently studying for her Certified Specialist of Wine, her CSW. So I will turn it over to Sue and Mia, and you guys take it away.
All right, thank you.
Well, we're so excited to have you here today, Maia, and
thank you so much.
I guess we should probably tell people how we found out about each other. So when did you first hear about Acquiesce?
Okay, well, thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I will never love to hear all my credentials read again, okay? That is a lot. But the first experience I had with your brand was, I believe that I had an experience with your brand in, like, I would say 2016, 17. I was judging a wine competition for the Denver International Wine Competition. And after we get through judging the competition, we get to go to the back to look at some of the bottles by the number. But I saw this bottle, this lovely bottle here, and the shape of it, and it drew me to the bottle. I took it home. It was the glass. It was the Pick Pull. was my first introduction. And I've had the pleasure of having the 16, I think I had the 17, the 18, and the 19. Well, 16, 17, and 18. So the 19 is coming out.
Yeah.
And so I just love the whole, I love the whole brand. And then actually before COVID, in at the end of February and March, my birthday weekend, the Rhode Island Wine Association had a master class, and my favorite Miss Elaine Shukin Brown was teaching the class, and she revealed the story about your brand and your husband and how much he loves you. And I was mesmerized by the story, which I'm sure you'll regale to people, and then how you guys just your initiative on Rhone varietals. And so that's kind of how this kind of started, literally not too long ago. And you guys reached out, and now we're collaborating. So somebody says, I love Elaine. I love Elaine. She is great, guys. And so I call her Woda, Wine Yoda. Okay, she is a savant. So that's kind of how we started, and now I'm obsessed completely with the brand. I have tried five of the six, I believe. No, Picpoul, Bourboulenc, the Claret Blanche, the Grenache Blanc Sparkling. So 4.
I'll have to
But
send
I'm
the
doing
rest.
now. That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, Maia has written some really great things about our wines on Instagram. And so we've kind of been following each other, and we're so excited to be actually seeing each other and talking to each other, since we can't get together in person right now with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess probably I'd like to ask you a few questions, and then maybe we could get into the Bourboulenc.
Okay.
But I was wondering how many competitions you judge every year, wine competitions.
So the Denver International Wine, I've been with them this will be our 6th year, my 6th year with them. We have our competition showcase will be in November. I believe we're going to have a COVID friendly one at the Marriott, but I've been with them for 6 years. Out of that, they have founded the Drink Pink. That's 4 years old. And then I've done some judging competitions in Colorado, in Denver, for Top Taco, tequila. I've done that. I've done something for whiskey, liquor here and there. So yeah, I did one beer competition, and that was one time too many. Okay, beer is very, very hard to judge because it's so heavy, and I just couldn't make it. But so that's my fortunate experience when it comes to judging.
Great. So also, what's your favorite part about your work? You have such a broad variety of things that you do in your career. What's your favorite part? Do you have a favorite?
Well, see, everything that I do is centered in wine. I have 2 to 3 businesses, but they're all centered in wine and communication. And so long as I'm staying centered in those things, I excel in those areas. I believe it or not, I miss working with people. I used to work the floor at Total Wine in Laurel, Maryland. And on the weekends we had tastings. And I just miss the interaction, the discovery from customers, leading them down a path, and them saying, oh, this was great. Do you have any more suggestions? And just, the wonder that comes from introducing them to a grape or varietal or brand that they've never had before. I definitely miss that. And virtual events is bringing them back.
Yes, exactly. We missed not having our friends in the tasting room and have the conversation over the tasting bar. So this is, I guess, the next best thing to talk about our wines. So maybe we'll talk about our Bourboulenc. And the reason that we picked Bourboulenc to talk about, it's our most unique and rare grape varietal. We're the very first vineyard that planted Bourboulenc in the U.S. There's probably, I would guess, less than 5 acres planted in the U.S. And
Okay.
wine, have you ever had it by itself before, Bourboulenc?
No,
So
this
it's
is my
really
first
good.
experience. Yeah.
And I really realized how interesting it would be for a sommelier or people in the wine industry. When the very first year we harvested it and had it in tank, we had 3 masters of wine that came to Lodi to try the Bourboulenc and Claret Blanche in tank, because it's pretty rare to try it on its own. In France, it's always part of a blend. And so to try it all on its own is quite unique. And I think it's a really fun varietal. So I think I'm going to pour some. I don't know if anyone at home has some of this that they can join us with.
So I did have the pleasure before I have had this is the 2019. I just had the 18 3 days ago. So I did write some notes down so we can do a vertical comparison, because I like to let people know, yes, producing wine year after year is great, but there should be some variances. Some vintages, and we mean years by that, will be great because of the growing season and techniques. Some will not be so great because of the season and techniques. But it's always interesting to see how the growth, of the wine year after year.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the 19, and I prefer mine. I did mine at different temperatures. Okay. I like to experiment. Okay. So I had this chill. I didn't write down the actual temperature, but I'll say I had this chilled in the fridge for like 3 or 4 hours, right? I'll say the chill rate would be of a Chardonnay level, right? When I consumed it at that rate, I didn't, I liked it colder. I liked it very cold. I was able to capture more flavors into at a very cold temperature. But yeah, 19, excited. So I have 2 glasses because Psalms, we're crazy. I have a regular wine glass. This is probably a little bit above level wine glass, right? This is your white standard. Okay. Does it matter to consume wine in different glasses? Yes and no. Okay. The answer is yes if you're really serious about wine, right? I think that if you're trying to study and you're really trying to invest and you have appreciation of wine, then you should have glassware, right? Especially in virtual. We have nowhere to go, you guys. Invest in your glassware. Treat your wine like the babies that they are. So I also have a large bulbous. This is the one by Andrea Robinson. Did she do one? And this is their regular red wine glass. But I like this bulbous glass because it helps with aromas. So I'm gonna do both. I'm crazy like that. I'm looking in the comments. Their first release. Okay, I'm not supposed to look at the comments.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, that's a habit for me. Live streaming, So yeah, so why don't you talk about the grape, and I want you to talk about why your brand is so different. If I don't know if people know this, but the Tipton family did something extraordinary that people just don't do, okay? They took their land and ripped out everything, almost, right? And you said, I'm just going to plant Rhone varietals, which are typically from France, you guys, okay? So I'll let Ms. Tipton take it from there.
Yeah, so we started, actually, I fell in love with a white Chateauneuf de Pape wine. I thought it was the best white wine I'd ever had. And I had been drinking white wine my whole life. And this was, I was in my early 50s at the time. And I thought, why had I never tried this beautiful wine before? And I started to research it and realized that only about 5 or 6% of the grapes in Chateauneuf de Pape are white. They export to 50 different countries. When you do find them in the US, they're usually pretty spendy. They're usually in the $75 range, and they usually are on oak. So they have a completely different profile. And so I just started me on this journey of planting the Grenache Blanc first, and then going on and planting the other Chateauneuf-du-Pape whites. So there's 13 grape varietals that are permitted in Chateauneuf-du-Pape. And we have all or most of the whites. So Bourboulenc became available, and so I needed to plant it. I knew it was part of a great blend in France. And actually, the vineyard here adds a magnificent minerality to these whites. And so we've been super thrilled with it. This is the baby. This is the last one we planted. So it wasn't available except to our wine club in 2017. So 2018, the one you're talking about, it was the first vintage where we actually had enough that we were able to sell it in the tasting room. And then now with the 2019, I feel that it's actually developing more into itself. And it's only 6 months in the bottle compared to the 18, which is obviously 18 months in the bottle. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
So, okay, I will agree. The 18, since you said finish, I found it to be, I think the 19 has more pronounced. The flavors are more intense. It seems like it's like the 18 was bright, but it wasn't as crisp as the 19. Getting more. I think you guys. I tell people descriptors are all the time. They are. They always ask me, "Oh, I don't taste what's on the descriptor." I tell people everyone's palate is different, right? And so if you don't taste what's on the descriptor, don't worry. Just kind of try to figure out what you taste. I did get more on this nose. It's just a little bit more mature. I'm getting I am getting beeswax, definitely. I'm getting a little bit of citrus. I want to say the 19 to me has my brain is Myers lemon, but it's not the pulp. It's more of the rind, right? And it just it smells so good. It does make a difference. Okay. I see that you have a bulbous glass too.
Yeah.
This one, so if you guys are doing the take, I hope everyone is smelling along with us. This is the interactive thing. Now, even if you don't have the Bourboulenc, please taste with us. Taste with us, people. That's why we're here. Okay, so this wine glass, when I smell this glass, diluted, right? So thank you. It's very diluted. And so I'm not getting I'm getting a little bit of citrus and a little bit of minerality, but nothing's pronounced, right? But when you put it in a more aromatic, y'all. Zaltos, I don't care. You can use if you have Riedel, I would use Bourboulenc. I would use my Sauvignon glass. I would use I also use that Pinot Noir, the New World Pinot with the lips, right? I call it with the lips, the fish lips. Okay, I will use that glass. In this glass, I'm definitely getting a lot. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
We have at least 3 of our participants on drinking the Bourboulenc tonight. Ross Harvey says he's drinking the 18. Kimberly Nordstrom and Emily are also enjoying the Bourboulenc with us.
Wow, great. Hi, Ross. Ross is chiming in from Canada. So welcome, Ross. Yeah.
He's been in
the wine business for years. So yeah, it's great.
Well, yes, we're drinking right now the 19. I have the 18. I have the bottle here somewhere. And if you can definitely get the comparisons, that's wonderful, because it's they call that a vertical tasting, by the way, you guys. And that's basically when you're able to taste either the same varietal and you get to taste it the year after year or the vintage, or I've done one where you did regional, vertical tastings. We've done year vertical tasting, like great. We did the whole year. You know, just kind of getting a synopsis of it. Oh, Rachel has a nice little comment. She said that she believes that the 19 is more pronounced in every way without being too much or overdone. I agree. Good job, Rachel. I definitely agree. This wine is very fresh, very crisp. Again, in the middle, I'm getting more fruit. The finish on this is not that long. It drops off, but it's still a nice little, a nice display on the tongues. You know? Yeah.
I get like a mango almost, or an apricot as part of the fruit towards the end.
I would agree with apricot.
Yeah, the beeswax characteristic kind of elongates the fruit, I think, too. Oh, somebody wants to know if there's any 18 available. We do have some 18, yes. Yes, oh, yeah, Robin gets
and
the...
these retail for 22 or 28?
These are 28. Wine Club members get a 20% discount on those.
Okay. Let me just emphasize Wine Club, you guys. Listen, just join it and you can work it out later. Most people are being very open with their Wine Club, with their membership guidelines. I will say read them. I am a former HR manager. Read the guidelines, but you should be able to cancel at any time.
Anytime.
The purpose of having a Wine Club membership is for information. It's also for discounts. It's for special deals, right? And so you guys definitely want to sign up for that. And again, you can cancel anytime. I am all for memberships. Okay. We have some really great things coming up.
I have a question from Gordon and Sharon Sprague, who say they're enjoying a bottle of the 18 tonight and want to know what pairing would you suggest with this wine?
Oh, I know you. So thank you for asking that. I'm gonna give you a blessing, okay? Because they know I'm obsessed with this. So I am a foodie. I am a former caterer. I didn't go to culinary school, but I've been in restaurant service since I was 15. I am 46 now, y'all. Okay, so I've been in service for a long time. So I am glad you asked that question because I was very thorough. Okay, so this one, and Sue's going to chime in for food-wise. I did accoutrements, as I call them, condiments, conservas. We did charcuterie, cheese, and we made an actual dish. So I will give you my chime in and we'll talk about that. I actually have props because I am very fanatical about that. Okay, so full disclosure, the Tipton family sent me a nice gift package, right? And in the gift package, they have some accoutrements, as I call them, condiments. Now, I have saved one of them, and then we'll talk about some other things. They gave me this Agromar tuna pate. This is from Spain. I found this online. Here we go. It's $9.50 online. It's worth the purchase price, y'all. Just let me tell you. Okay. And here's a little trick. You can take a picture of anything on your phone, and they have now after you go into the photos, there's a little triangle, a square there. If you press the square, it'll analyze the photo and it'll tell you where you can buy it on the internet. Okay.
Wow.
My other company is in tech. It's in the social media and technical stuff. So that's one of the things. So this is a tuna pate. I would tell you guys that fish works with everything. I think it works with their entire brand.
Yeah,
I can confidently say that. Okay. So Trader Joe's is one of my favorite places. Okay. Trader Joe's has an array. I love tin fish. I have a small obsession with it, okay? Conserve us. In the time of COVID, you know how we went crazy, right? Okay, still going crazy. Trader Joe's has an array of 10 fish, right? That you guys can get. They're under $4. All of these work with all of her brands, especially the Bourboulenc and the Claret Blanche. Okay. This is the smoked mackerel. I like a smoky kind of thing, right? They're anchovies by themselves. Okay. This is the smoked sardine. They have a smoked trout and herring. The smoked herring is nice too. All of them are under $5, right? They all work with a little bit of butter. I have all my props here, you guys. Okay. Butter. Butter works. Butter works. Okay, now let me be clear. I'm talking about fanciful butter, you guys. Fanciful butter. This is French butter we have King Super brand, Kroger brands out here. So this is from Private Selection. It's a product of France, okay? It's a soft French butter. But Trader Joe's has butter. The Irish butter works. Kerry's Gold.
Here we go. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you just want something nice and just, soften the butter. Okay. Chips. What do you eat with your conserva? You can use a cracker. Okay. You want something sturdy. Cars are great. The car brand, or I like kettle chips. Okay. Now, you can't use Lay's, folks. Those are women. They will not support the food. Okay. You need a sturdy chip. Okay. I like this brand. Kettle chips is a good brand. Support. So those work. Miss Tipton, she's gonna give and hot sauce.
That's awesome.
Hot sauce.
I
Hot
will
sauce
say
works really well.
Sue's wines all stand up quite well to a little heat in your food, which you cannot do raw wines. Also, what I noticed in the comments, Ken and Leah Stafford, your neighbors, say that they are enjoying fresh dried figs from the garden with their Bourboulenc.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah,
that sounds wonderful.
That's great. We also have some. Now this is squid. See it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know that brand.
Yes, the little conservas, the squid.
Okay.
From Spain. On a salad, you could make a little salad with it. Just some maybe onion and pepper and just make a little olive oil salad with this squid. And then another thing we have that we found we really like, this is an eggplant caponata from Italy. So it works.
That entire brand. So they send me the olive tapenade. Let me tell you, inferior. I got a brand here from Trader Joe's, which is this one's was $4. Mm-hmm. That brand is $6.50 I found online, but that brand is far superior because this was not that great. Mm-hmm. That was wonderful. Is that from Italy?
This is from Italy, yeah.
Okay.
We would normally carry this in our tasting room, but our tasting room is closed right now. But we found too, when we were doing some pairings with this wine, sweet potatoes are great with this. And actually like the sweet potato chips and cashews from Costco in the big container are lovely with this one. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm allergic to tree nuts, but I can see how because those aromas are in there. I tried the cheese. As far as cheese, goat cheese definitely worked. Dijon mustard, that worked. Honey mustard works a little bit if it's like that. If it's the grainy honey mustard. All forms of fish worked. All forms of fish. I definitely can see salad. I probably wouldn't use I'm very salad friendly. So I love baby gems. I think that those would work. Butter lettuce would work very well. Arugula would work on the Bourboulenc. I think it would work better with the 19 than the 18 because there's definitely more brightness there, right? As far as a dish and cooking wise, right? I made shrimp scampi last night.
Oh, wow.
So I will drop and I'll post some pictures. guys can find that. If you guys are trying to follow me, you can find me on the Wine Mistress on Instagram, and I'll give some to Sue and them. And so I made shrimp scampi. I did very simple. I used bucatini pasta, and then I just did butter, parsley, garlic, salt, um, a little bit. I use this. I just use a little bit. Okay, let me be clear with you guys. Okay, this is not something that I would cook with because I don't want to waste it like that. But I used a little bit. Okay, just to see what would happen. I use a little bit of that, tossed it and some olive oil, and put in some more parsley and some Parmesan cheese, and it was expertly paired. It was wonderful. So I would definitely do something like that. You could do creamy. I wouldn't do like a thick Alfredo sauce, but maybe like a lemon cream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We have a friend that works here in the tasting room who just ran over yesterday with an amazing pairing for this wine. She's like, I happened to try it. We had a Bourboulenc, and it was a clam and shrimp dish with a mushroom sauce.
I
Said it went perfectly with this one.
I can see that. I wanted to do clams, linguine clams, because my brain is going to herbs, right? And so when you're doing a pairing, whatever you taste, this is a great way for you guys to talk about pairings, right? Whatever you taste, I don't care what it is, you taste it, write it down, right? And then think about dishes that work with those type of foods, right? So when I tasted this, I just tasted a lot of herbs. So I started thinking like parsley, dill, cilantro, basil. And then I started to think, because I have dyslexia, so just full disclosure, my brain works a little different, right? So I was like, what is in those categories of food that incorporate those ingredients? So then I got to scampi. I was thinking of lemon chicken. I was thinking of things that had those type of herbs in it, and then I went into citrus notes, and then we got into like which seafoods and fish. Chicken will definitely work with this. I could see a Parmesan crusted, pan fried chicken with a nice.
We have two comments. They're both different pork dishes that they paired with this one. The first one, Penny is having a carnitas and green chili tacos with salsa verde. And Rachel Peak is having something a little more exotic. She's having a conchinita pibil, which is an orange citrus marinated pork cooked in banana leaf with pepitas.
Oh, wow.
Nuttiness and umami. And
can we join you at your house?
Right. I'm like, I would love to see that. Please post a picture.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see pork chili. So Colorado, we're known for our green chili, red chili. Okay, everything here is spicy, but homemade, I could definitely see that the really thin version of the pork chili, because if it has vinegar in it, I think French fries would work with this. With a little bit of malt vinegar, anything that kind of has that freshness in it, I think would work very well with this wine. That's me. She said, I'm reading the right now. I wish I had a restaurant. Yeah, somebody send us a picture. Okay, I want to see that. I really do. So I like to talk to people, about why this wine is great. This is great for brides. Okay, visually, brides love this. Okay, first of all, it's very clean, simple. Okay, gold is an accent color, green is an accent color, white label. This is bride worthy. Okay, it's seasonal. I think I would drink this all 24/7, but you definitely could drink this spring, summer, into the fall, right? This is definitely good for holiday. This is Thanksgiving all day. Actually, all of your brands are food worthy, and Rhone varietals are very food friendly. You you have somebody who's a hostess is the mostess, right? Pick up one of these and take them to the house. They will work with mostly everything. I would have to say,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
and
very.
a lot of all of these wines too are really great cheese wines.
Mhm.
I think that white wines actually have a broader spectrum with cheeses than red wines actually do. So,
I agree.
we've paired our Claret Blanche with Triple Creme from France, Hornbacher from Switzerland, Seascape from California, and on and on and on. Even feta cheese, just a really lovely pairing. So these wines go really well with cheeses. So, when you think of the nuts and figs and the cheeses, it's like you were saying, a great charcuterie plate would work with these wines also.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, they're great for, just drinking by themselves, but they are very much intensified with food pairing. And just, people kind of get intimidated by that. And I just tell them, just try things individually. I went through everything. My best pairing was, I'll say, I had a chip. Okay, so I had a kettle chip. I had a smear of butter. We had some smoked herring. Okay, from Trader Joe's, I got it. I put a little bit of dill, fresh dill on top, and a little bit of salt and a sprig of lemon. And I ate that, and I went back and forth, and I was having food gas.
That sounds great.
And I took pictures of those too. Just experiment. It's about mood. Wine is about mood to me. I drink according to my mood. In any given time, I have several bottles open, right? And just depending on what I want, or does it work with the food? Does it work with my mood? This is definitely mood-worthy wine. You know that show Frankie and Grace on Netflix?
Yeah.
This is Frankie and Grace worthy. It is definitely,
We have a related question from Terry. She says, where does Bourboulenc, or he, I'm not sure, says, where does Bourboulenc fit compared to your other Rhone wines?
Fit as far as how it's different than the others? I think that, the interesting thing about Bourboulenc for me, having known these wines now for as long as I have, is that there's the grapes. That's what they look like. So we sent Maia some grapes.
Can you believe they sent grape clusters, y'all?
That's a beautiful cluster.
Yeah, aren't they pretty?
They're very heavy.
They're actually gorgeous.
Guys. This feels like 3 to 4 pounds. There's 2 in here. I don't know if you guys can see the coloring on here, but the coloring is like, they kind of look like speckled grayish, greenish, with a little bit of a brownish, greenish brown coloring.
Yeah, they almost like are a smoky gray color, the grapes themselves. But Bourboulenc is in many ways so different than the other varietals. And I think that's why we wanted to talk about it. For somebody that's been drinking these wines, the Rhone varietals for a while, it's almost what I would call austere. It doesn't fit into the category of the others. And we're really just starting to get to know it. This is really only the second year where we've had enough product that we can explore it throughout the whole year. And the more that we explore it, the more we fall in love with it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's really how we feel about Bourboulenc. And I could easily plant more of it. Now, Bourboulenc also is 20% of Bourboulenc is in our Ingenue blend. So our new 2019 Ingenue is released. For those that know about the 2018, it sold out in 2 weeks last year. And we now have some 2019 available. It's beautiful. And 20% of the blend is the Bourboulenc. So, yeah.
We have a technical question from Mary, who wants to know what bricks and pH and TA do you harvest at?
So this has been a challenging year. Just ask any winemaker in California. So we started with no rain at all in February. We had multiple 100+ degree days in August. And then we ended up with the smoke and not a lot of sunshine because the smoke covered the sun. And the Brix levels were all over the board. I'm grateful that we know the grapes. So we walk the vineyard every day before harvest and we taste them. So a lot of it is not just the pH levels, but about ripeness. But we'd like to pick the Bourboulenc, and we did this year at 22 Brix. That keeps the alcohol level in the 13% range. The pH is about 3.4, which is nice. It's just what we're looking for. Bourboulenc behaves better in the vineyard than many of the other grapes. So they each have their own characteristics, their own personalities. They're like children. And Bourboulenc is well behaved. It's the last grape varietal we pick. It's a late ripening varietal, and the beautiful smoky gray coloring makes it just a joy in the vineyard. We haven't had any issues at all with the grapes in the vineyard, and for a new varietal to the U.S., I think that's wonderful. If there's any vineyard owners that are on this screen, I would suggest planting it. I think it's a beautiful grape and a great blender also.
Ken and Leah commented, doesn't Bourboulenc have lighter acid levels compared to other Rhone whites?
I would say not really.
No,
I don't, nothing specific from what the research that I've done. Background, Bourboulenc is found mostly in Southern Rhone. Provence, the Languedoc, you're gonna have it in that's the area that is primarily from. What Miss Tipton is doing is very rare, okay? Very rare. That's why it's so extraordinary. And so the acid levels in those regions, because the land is different, the climate is different. I don't think Lodi and Rhone are climates are not. There's characteristics, right? But they're not the same. The Bourboulenc in France is going to be different. It's still going to be crisp, but I can only imagine that it's definitely drier, more minerality, less tropical fruit. Lodi is hot. Okay. Sacramento, Ocampo, hot. Okay. Probably one of the hottest regions in California, in my opinion, because you guys have hot days and hot nights sometimes.
No, we actually have, I think it's kind of misunderstood. In Lodi, we get the delta breezes in the evening. Okay. So even if it's a 90 or 100 degrees during the day, our evening temperatures are usually 60 degrees.
Okay.
So that works for the grapes. They cool them off at night. And so even though we do have a really hot climate, one advantage to Lodi versus France is that the warm climate actually helps bring the grapes to ripeness. So okay. Like you were saying, in France, you might see that the acid levels are higher because they have to pick them earlier. It's a late ripening varietal, and they have weather issues. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we typically don't have weather issues in California as far as hail and rain during the harvest season, like we do in France, which can devastate crops and result in early picking. So,
and ask, isn't your vineyard planted along the McCollum River?
We're a mile from the McCollum River. So the soil here is actually river bottom soil. It's almost like beach sand in some areas of the vineyard. And before they dammed up the McCollum River, this was river bottom. And we're in the McCollum River AVA, which is known for more mineral and lighter characteristics of wine. So even the Zins from the McCollum River AVA have a lighter style characteristic to them. Other questions?
Now, if you guys are flying in, I've been to Lodi once, you fly into Sacramento, then you need to drive So get a car. Okay. The Ubers are cool, but they're not cheap. You can drive, you fly into Sacramento and you drive to Lodi. It's about 45 minutes, a Campo, Lodi, all of that. There are 3 hotels.
More now. I think we're
Okay.
probably, quite a bit more now.
They
Since
have,
we were here.
but
And
definitely it's definitely worth it. I would say to you guys, a great resource if you're going to that area is the Lodi Wine Association. You email them. And they'll provide you with information on wineries to choose. Sometimes they have passes. It's the wineries are not expensive. A lot of the times your tasting fees are waived once you buy some product. They don't do that in Napa anymore, okay? And so it's a great place to just kind of have a nice little road trip.
agreed.
Lodi doesn't get the respect it deserves. And they're pretty new. It was I want to say 86 that things started to really kind of
Yes,
people started doing investments and started
for the tasting rooms. We've actually been a wine region since the 1800s and have vines that are from the 1880s still in production. But it's been kind of the home of the big wineries. So there's 110,000 acres of wine grapes in Lodi, more than Napa and Sonoma combined.
right.
And, a lot of Lodi grapes head to Napa. So they're in Napa wines, a certain percentage at least. But because of the vastness of this area, it's just been the bigger wineries. But about less than 20 years ago, a lot of vineyard owners decided they were going to make their own custom wines. And now we have over 80 tasting rooms. So that created a little wine region to visit. So,
do we have any more questions? I think we've answered most of the questions. So this is last call for questions if you want to get some in.
Questions in. Well, before we wrap up, I want to know, Maia, as a former Somm, or current Somm, actually, do you have a good wine story?
Yeah, I have a lot of them.
What's your favorite one? Like, good wines.
Okay, here's a story. Because we get to you never know who you're tasting with, right? You never know. I got invited out to Charles Krug Winery, and I'm sitting in. I was by myself, and they had a tour come through. So I'm sitting there tasting with the group. And my hair is usually different colors, you guys. It's usually blue. It really is. And usually my hair is usually blue or purple or silver. The only reason why it's blonde is because my boyfriend requested regular hair for like a moment. And I said, okay, you can have that. But okay. So I'm in my blue hair and we're hanging out. I'm in the back and we're doing the tasting. And I'm having heart attacks, right? Because the wine is amazing, right? It's Charles Krug. We're tasting like Legacy. I'm just like, okay, swirling here. And I'm really just kind of talking to myself. I like to talk to myself when I drink sometimes. That's why I shouldn't drink by myself. So I'm talking to myself and I look over and the group is looking at me and ended up being the winery owner of in the Finger Lakes. What's the number one in Finger Lakes? Oh, Dr. Franken. You know what I'm talking about? Dr. My hair is just not. Anyway, it was the owner and his family, right? And in the wine world, he's a big deal. It was just like a legend in the wine community, right? And so he comes over to me after. He's like, "What is your name?" And I'm like, Maia. He's like, wow, you were just you're okay, you're having a good time. I was like, yeah. He just kind of like was so, I don't know, surprised how I was just I was having my own good time. And anyway, he gave me his card. It was like, you should come to my winery. I want to know if you're gonna have this experience at my winery. I've had a lot of great experiences with just people, just regular people, just the wonder when they taste something that they never had before, and they just or connect to a wine. I love a challenge. When people say, "Oh, I hate something." Oh, you do? Okay.
That's a
Figure this out.
challenge.
Yes, a challenge to try and just, your first introduction, no matter what, is whatever the memory you're going to have. And I think as an educator, as a person on the floor at times, when I do my own events, it is important that we listen to the consumer's palate, and then grow from there. But we also give them a good introduction. Um, a lot of not old world wines. Could be considered old world if it was actually in old world, but technically it's not. But a lot of old world wines are made to be consumed with food. When I say old world, you guys, that's Italy, and that's France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, all of Europe for the most part. New world is U.S., South America, Australia, South Africa, everywhere else, right? So, old world wine is cultivated with food. If you have it by itself, you may not understand it. If you are trying to get into red wine and someone introduces you to a Bordeaux, you may not get it because that is not your first introduction, is not a style that you may not understand. So, and I would hate for you to never come back to red wine because you had a bad experience. And that happens a lot. So, I think it's important for people to just explore. If you have a wine that you like if you have this wine and you couldn't find it and you found out that it came from Lodi, right? Then go look for other Lodi white wines, right? Don't just give up. you know, Try to find wineries near the area. Try other wine brands within that brand. Join the club.
Right.
Okay.
Join the
We
club.
have one last question
Sure.
from Mary, who says, "Do you have any comments or suggestions on women winemakers associations?"
Yes, I do. So, one great one, the Botanage Forum. You guys, they have a Women in Wine event every year. I was a speaker there this year. It's every summer. You look up that. There's Women in Wine and Spirits. They have a great foundation and scholarship program. Black Wine Professionals has a support group. Wine Unified has a woman-friendly support group. And the Assemblage Symposium. They're very women in wine friendly. They're not solely women in wine, but they're very women in wine friendly topics about pay equity, and pay equity. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So those are some great places to be. I would definitely check those out. They're all on IG. You can direct message me if you have any questions. And again, you guys, first you're gonna go follow Acquiesce Winery. Go follow Instagram. That does matter. We need those follows, okay? You guys have any comments? Definitely comments. You go find me at the Wine Mistress. Check us out. And we have some really great things in store. I hope that this is a very long relationship.
It's going to be. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it very much so.
family. And yeah, this is great. I am just excited. So you guys definitely keep trying. If you're doing food pairings, please tag the winery. Please send emails to us. We love to know what you guys are pairing it with. What are you using the wine for? Hostess gifts. We got the holidays coming up. So we're gonna have a lot of conversation about some of this
What's
wine.
the
Yes,
time?
yes. All of those conversations, and keep the mood right. If you're doing virtual events, set it up nice, light some candles, put on some music, put on something cute. Okay, you in the house. But be nice to yourself, you guys.
Thank you so much, Maia, for joining us. You're a joy and a gem, and
Thank you
we
so
got to
much.
do this again.
Yes, we will.
Together.
Yes, you guys, we're gonna get past this. And as soon as we do, I'm coming straight there. I probably hope to see you guys in March.
That would
That's
be
looking
great.
possible. I will be there in March with my little tiny house for a whole week.
That's great. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. It means so much to us. And just to let you know, we're going to have another virtual event on Friday with our tasting experience package. So if you're interested in that at all, just let me know, shoot me an email. And thanks, Maia, for taking time out of your day to join us.
Bye, guys. Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel's very boisterous in the chat. Hi, Miss Rachel.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.
Bye.